Hi everybody, it's Olive. Today I'm here to bring you my November wrap-up and my December TBR. If you for some reason did not hear, in November, along with Gemma from Nonfic Books, I hosted a challenge called Nonfiction November. I'm happy to say that I did complete the challenges that we set out for ourselves and for everybody else by reading 4 nonfiction books from 4 different categories. For the history category, I read Sex with Kings by Eleanor Herman. Next, for the biography memoir challenge, I read Lenin's Brother, The Origins of the October Revolution by Philip Pomper. For the science category, I read Genome, an autobiography of a species in 23 chapters by Matt Ridley. And lastly, for the culture and society challenge, I read Nickel and Dimed on Not Getting By in America by Barbara Ehrenreich. If you are interested in hearing my thoughts on any of those 4 books, I did reviews for each of them, and I will post the links to all of those videos in the description box below. Also for Nonfiction November, I decided to pick up an audiobook, a nonfiction audiobook called Dataclysm: Who We Are When We Think No One's Looking by Christian Rudder. Christian Rudder is the co-founder of OkCupid, which is a very popular online dating site. He obviously has a lot of data on users and interactions between single people on his website. He uses these to draw some conclusions about psychology and, again, who we are when we think no one's looking, our inner private selves, and what the data shows about that. It was up against some kind of stiff competition. I was reading a lot of interesting and very informative, also very important nonfiction books in the month of November. So for me, conclusions like women are surprisingly more critical of men's looks than men are of women's looks did not resonate with me at all. It was way too poppy, and I was reading way too many other important books. So unfortunately, this one got 2 stars from me. Not for any sort of challenge in November, just for my own personal enjoyment, I read Chew Volume 10, which was, as always, fantastic. Now that we are heading into December, I had to have a little bit of a come to Jesus meeting with myself about the books that are on my currently reading shelf and my ability to get through them given what I want to be reading in December. I had to come to the hard conclusion that I just am not going to be able to finish these next 2 books because I have had so much on my mind in the month of November, and because I have finals on the horizon and I was already participating in Nonfiction November, I found myself less motivated to read and more motivated to rewatch The Wire and watch my husband play Fallout 4, so that's what I did. But as a result, I'm not going to be able to finish the next 2 books. I only got 80 pages into Ruska by Edward Rutherford. I do really want to read this one, but its size is just so intimidating. This is going to have to be read at a time where I have very little else going on, and I'm not reading any other books that can distract me because I am so intimidated by this. Along similar lines, but even more severe of a problem because this is a library book that has a due date attached to it, I'm not going to be able to finish The Big Green Tent by Ludmila Ulitskaya. I am very excited to read this someday, but this is probably going to be one I have to own, seeing as it is, I think, over 600 pages long. There are 2 fiction books that I picked up in the month of December to kind of dip in and out of while I was reading all the nonfiction that I was. But of course, because I've kept getting distracted by other things, I did not finish either of them, but I do hope to finish them in December. The first being The Anatomy of Dreams by Chloe Benjamin. The second is an ARC that I requested a copy of. I, of course, loved An Uncommon Education by Elizabeth Purser, so I reached out to get an ARC of her new book called All Stories Are Love Stories, which is about an earthquake in San Francisco and several people who are affected by that earthquake and how they intertwine with one another. Do not take my lack of finishing this book for lack of excitement. Like I said, I have just had other things on my mind, but I am intensely excited to get more into this one because I love Elizabeth Purser's writing. I think I will probably be doing a review of this one, so keep an eye out for that. These next ones are all the ones that I'm hoping to start in December. The first one is The Brothers Karamazov by Fyodor Dostoevsky. I am participating in a read-along for this book that is being hosted by Michael of Knowledge Lost and Victoria of A Hermit's Progress. There is a Goodreads group for this read-along if you would like to join in with us. Link will be posted in the description box below. I started this one earlier this year, but it just wasn't hooking me, but I think this is the right time of year for me to try to finish it, and that is A Darker Shade of Magic by V.E. Schwab. The next one is the first one in a series that I've been meaning to get to for a very, very long time. That is The Magicians by Lev Grossman. These next 3 books all are along the same theme, which I thought would be fitting and very fun to do. They all have to do with Rasputin. So the first one is the graphic novel that I got for my birthday from my husband about Rasputin. The next book is a nonfiction book about Rasputin called The Rasputin File by Edward Radzinsky. The next book is a piece of historical fiction set in Russia where the main character is Rasputin's daughter, and that is The Enchantments by Catherine Harrison. So that's everything I read for nonfiction November, as well as a couple of extras that I read in November, things that I want to finish up in December and what I want to start in December. I'm really looking forward to reading all of these books. I want to thank everyone again for participating in Nonfiction November, and thank you for all your support. It was a ton of fun. I think this is maybe something to consider doing next year too. Let me know what you think. If you would like to talk to me about anything, you can leave a comment down below. I'm also on both Twitter and Instagram at @bookolive, and the link to my personal Goodreads is down below if you would like to be friends. Thank you so much for watching. Have a wonderful day, and I will see you in the next video.